Hi everyone, I'm Hallie. Welcome back to Ledger and Lace. Today I am doing version 2.0 of my printing on fabric from the video I did a few months ago. I took that one down just because there were a couple inaccuracies with the materials I was using, and there were some questions that I thought, well, I'll just redo this and answer those questions. Also, I had a request to do a demonstration of how I do it. So stick around to the end if you want to see me do a sort of demonstration with my little dinky craft iron here. So, okay, so there are two products that I use. The first is I'm using Craft Fuse, it's Pellin Craft Fuse, style 808. So write that down. Don't think that you're going to remember it and go to the frickin' Pellin aisle with a bazillion choices, because all you have to go by is the number. And this comes in different thicknesses. It comes fusible, unfusible, webbing, unweb. I mean, there are so many options, and it's not it's confusing, or at least it was to me. So all you do with this is you follow the directions, and I'll demonstrate that after we go through showing you what I printed off. The next one is Shape Flex, and this is again Pellin Shape Flex style S for Sam, F for Frank, 101. Just remember San Francisco 101. It's the magic in the middle, but we're not using it in the middle. It's still magic though, because you can print on this, which is fantastic. So let me go through and show you what I did, and then if you want details of how I did this, stick around for after I show you the images of everything. So I've got a lot of Shape Flex and some printed on muslin. So here we go. This is Shape Flex, and I adhered it to the back of cardstock. And this is this was my first Fern Booksmith tome that I did, and also digi-kit. So that's one of the great things about printing on fabric is, number one, if you want to add that fabric texture, you can do that. So this has in the image, you can tell it's fabric, but it's nice to add that a little bit extra to printing it on fabric. So there's that. This is really cool. These are the handkerchiefs I have in my Pride and Prejudice digi-kit. And what's great about this is that they're fabric. So you're printing them on fabric, which is really great. And because it's on cardstock, and again, this is the Shape Flex, then I can just cut and make pockets, which, how cool is that? Okay, so one of these I printed out standard, and one of them I printed out as highest quality, and you really can't tell. So I would just go with standard printing on the Shape Flex. The weave of Shape Flex is a little bit larger than muslin, and so it lends itself to things if you don't care about imperfections. Like if you want crisp, clear, true to life photographs, go with muslin, white muslin. If you want the more junk journal vintagey look, go with the Shape Flex or the natural colored muslin. So that's the Shape Flex. This is Shape Flex, but I attached it to heavier cardstock and darker cardstock, so that's what it looks like. This is a Booksmith. This is my Pride and Prejudice. This was one of my first ones that I did, a Booksmith tome, and it looks like my printer got a little cranky there. So I don't know if that's like printer head or I don't know. But oh, I should mention the printer I use is a Canon TS 5020, T for Thomas, S for Sam. It was 30 bucks on sale like 3 years ago. And don't be using your fancy printers for this, you know, when you're experimenting with this kind of stuff. You know, do this at your own risk. I'm just playing around and experimenting, and it's working okay, but you know, that's my disclaimer. So there's that. This is again Shapeflex. This is Nik The Booksmith's eco digi graphic that she did, and this is where it just really lends itself to looking spectacular on fabric, because eco dyeing a lot of times is on fabric, and here we have it just printed out on fabric, so it looks fantastic. So there's that, and I'm gonna leave that there so you can see the contrast in a minute. So now this is what started it all, because I'm working on another course in my Teachable Classroom, and I'll show you the original. This is printed on the highest quality on matte photo paper. This is standard printing on cream colored muslin. So you can see the contrast there. So depending on your printer, depending on the settings you have, depending on the materials that you're printing out on, it can all make a difference on how things turn out. So there's that. Okay, so I decided I might want to use this as a pocket to slip things in, and you know, I didn't want like stark white pockets showing if I'm, you know, so I printed on the back of the craft fuse. Can you tell? It's muted. It doesn't show up as much, but how cool is that? So you can definitely print on the back of the craft fuse. It just is more muted tones and not as vibrant and not as crisp and clear, but that's perfect. I mean, for that, it looks really cool, I thought. So, okay, so then this is the handkerchief that is printed on muslin, and whoops, on muslin, see. Another great thing about printing on fabric is that if you have corners or bendy things, and you know, you're not, you need it to bend, then fabric really is the way to go with this sort of thing. So there's that. Okay, this is my last one. I have a silk scarf. It was this color already, and I put it on to craft fuse. So there's the back of it. And then I just printed some ferns. How cool is that? So there you go. Those are the ones that I've done. Let me demonstrate for those who want to know how to do this. I'm going to pretend demonstrate because this is not on. Look. Nope. It is, I got this specifically for the demonstration, and it is Steamy McSteamerson in here, still steaming up my camera. So I thought, okay, we'll just be like my nephew used to pretend fish off my pier. We're going to pretend iron, but you'll get a good idea. So first of all, craft fuse. Just follow the directions on the back. So what you do is, I use, this is a Teflon baking mat that you can also use for crafts, and it's non-stick. So you're going to use a damp cloth. You don't want to use terry because that has like a texture to it. So you don't want to do that. Just something, you know, I use this, that worked. And then let me get my sample piece of muslin. Then what I do is I put the muslin down along my ironing board, and then I take the craft fuse and I just roll it along, and then I adhere it in a giant piece, and then I cut it out. And it's just so much easier to do that than trying to cut and measure every single piece. Plus you'll get much crisper lines, and you can use a rotary cutter or you can use scissors. So this is how I do it. So then I take my damp towel or cloth. And so I have it on my craft fuse and the muslin. That's adhered already, but just pretend. We're pretending. And then you just go like this and you follow the directions. So I go along the edge because I want to make sure that the edges are secure. So you do 1 banana, 2 banana, 3 banana, 4 banana, 5 banana, 6 banana, 7 banana, 8 banana, and then you move. So it's essentially just the directions that are on the back. And so you just move all along like that. And then when that's done, I check and make sure there's no bubbles or missed spots. And often you're going to see the imprint of the iron. So then I'll just go over and smooth it out so that it doesn't have those imprints and it's not lumpy. So that is how to do the craft fuse. Now, with the Shape Flex, it's definitely different. You don't want to use the directions on the back of the thing because, let me show you, if you use the damp towel, you get lumps and creases and bumps, and it's just not, it doesn't work. So what I do is I lay out cardstock, whoops, focus, there we go. I lay out cardstock on my ironing board with my Teflon, and then I take my Shape Flex and I put it over the cardstock, and then I don't use a towel. I don't use anything on top. I use steam because it's the water that activates the glue. And when you are using the craft fuse with the damp towel, it doesn't matter so much if your iron is on steam or not. But with this, you definitely need the steam. So then I'm not doing the patch it, like the 1 banana and leaving it in one place, because then you're going to get that iron imprint. I'm just being very smooth and slow and letting it activate as it's steaming along here so that it's nice and smooth. And that's how I do it. And then I cut out along the edges of the paper. Make sure that when you're cutting, and especially with the Shape Flex, because the weave is a little bit looser than regular muslin, but it has a lot of strings. We call those strings thread. It's got a lot of threads hanging off, so you want to definitely make sure that you cut those off and it's as clean as possible before you put it into your printer. The other thing is that sometimes and you have to watch this before you put the Shape Flex down. If it has strings, it can get under, and then you've got this sort of lumpy, stringy thing underneath, and you don't want that. So this was, I think I said this was my attempt to use the damp cloth before I figured out how to do it the other way. So I think that's it. I think if you have any questions, if you have any other things that you do, if you have other things that you do with fabric, then let me know. And I will see you in the next video. Bye.